An Instagram famous cabin just listed on Stevens Pass, and I'm excited to talk about what I think about it, whether I think it's a good deal or a bad deal, and share some comps with you. So let's jump in. This is Tye House. If you have ever been on Instagram, you've probably seen this cabin. If not, you've probably seen cabins that are trying to be this cabin and aspire to be like this cabin. If you scroll through their pictures, they've got 130,000 followers, and a lot of these faces are, a who's who of Pacific Northwest, like hiking bloggers and hiking Instagrammers. All these people that they've invited out to the cabin, the owners of this cabin are in marketing themselves. So they've done a really good job of taking advantage of influencer marketing to really promote these cabins. Although it is 900 square feet, one bedroom lofted A-frame, they're doing over $130,000 a year and have been consistently doing over, $100 to $130,000 a year in Airbnb revenue. So pretty incredible. A less exciting cabin might be doing, 60 or 65. So they're doing double what you might do without such good marketing, photos, and branding behind you. Let's jump into their actual Airbnb listing. They've got almost 900 reviews, 4.8 stars. It looks really, really good. You can see they've got a lot of lifestyle photos, which is a trend that kind of jumped onto Airbnb a couple of years ago, rather than just having, cabin photos, having actual people exploring the cabin and experiencing it. It's in this nice little community of Timberlane Village. It is not riverfront, but river access. And on Timberlane Village, here's the cabin on the MLS. You do get a little bit of road noise, like most parts of Stevens Pass, because you're right up against the highway here. You'd get a little bit less if you were on the riverside. But at least in Timberlane Village, you're not too close to the railroad. The railroad here curves away on the other side of the river, so you don't get a lot of train noise, which is a big problem on Stevens Pass. So they've got 130,000 followers. They're doing actually $130,000 in revenue. I didn't. I don't think anyone planned that, but it at least makes it easier to remember. Let's take a look at whether this is a good deal or not. Here's the listing. They're selling it with all the business assets, which means the Instagram, the website, everything, the brand, and they have it listed at $845. The cabin that I sold 2 years ago, Tye House, was listed at $750, and we got it for $675. It is similar in square footage, in layout, but definitely a little less nice. You can see the outside looks great. It's got the same wall of windows, but one of the big shortfalls here on Tye House and then also on Haas House, the cabin they sold last year, is the kitchen. The kitchen's not renovated here, right? You can see big difference comparing that to, let's see if we can find a Tye House kitchen picture. To that, right? So that sold for $675 2 years ago, though. Here is Foss House, really similar, listed $675, sold $645. This was just last year. You can see outside looks kind of similar. This one actually is a one bedroom and a loft, so two beds, which is a little bit bigger than the others. Same situation though with the wall of windows, open floor plan, but older kitchen. So one huge value add here in Tye House is the renovated kitchen. You might say, how much does it actually cost to renovate that kitchen? Let's remember, we're on Stevens Pass. We're past Skycomish. I don't know if you've ever done a project up here. I've done a ton of them. It is hard to get anyone to work up here. People love driving up here to ski. They love driving up here to hike. Contractors do not love driving up here to work on projects. So the fact that it's renovated, even if the renovation would only cost $20,000, actually finding a contractor that's willing to do it for $20,000 is tough. A lot of contractors will take that 25K project and make it 50 because they just don't want to bother doing a 2 hour drive from Seattle up to the mountains and dealing with power outages, snow, all the other problems that we have up here. If you forget a piece of lumber or a pipe fitting, the drive back to the Monroe Lowe's is about an hour. So it can be a very frustrating place to work unless you're very prepared. So there's Tye House. Let's look at a cabin that is not famous, but is right across the street, is very similar. It's a little bigger at 1,000 square feet, and it is a two bed, one bath. First off, let's take a look at how prices have changed over the last 2 years on Stevens Pass. they've gone up pretty significantly during COVID. We were seeing 20, 30% a year appreciation during COVID. So although prices have gone up a ton over the last 5 and 10 years, they haven't really gone over anywhere over the last two. And we can see that with this cabin. It sold last in 2022 for $675, and then it actually sold again just a few months ago in 2024 for $695. So you can see over 2 years, you've gained $20,000 of value on a 600K cabin that is what, 3% or so. So no huge price changes over the last few years. Let's take a look at this cabin though. It looks nice on the outside, same kind of big tall ceilings. It's got some more modern features like that accent wall. The kitchen is also not like cabin chic, but more modern. Love it or hate it, right? Some people would prefer a more cabiny, smaller kitchen. Some people would prefer a more modern kitchen. It is a lot bigger though, and you can see the bedroom with this door here is actually closed off, which is pretty nice if you actually want to use this as a bedroom or if you have a bunch of kids like I do. So 695, 675, 645, 675. How much is the business worth here, right? For them to be asking 845. My guess is that the business is actually probably worth $50,000 or more. Having this kind of marketing engine behind you gives you two opportunities. One, to actually maximize the revenue from this property, and two, to maximize the revenue from other properties, right? You can manage your future short-term rentals under the same Airbnb account and website and piggyback off of that marketing. You could even become a property manager up on the pass. If any property managers bought the Tye House website and the Instagram account and used it to market their other cabins, that would be a huge value add, both for the cabins that they have and to be able to get new clients and charge higher rates. So I do think the business here is worth $50,000 to $1,000, $100,000 in the right hands, right? $130,000 Instagram followers isn't worth that automatically, but in the right hands, there's a real opportunity here. And the cabin is probably worth 715, 720. So they're not that far off. I think they're high, but they're not that far off. What's your thoughts on the business? What's your thoughts on the cabin? Would you stay here? Would you buy it? Is it way overpriced? Are we absolutely I won't say that word. Are we absolutely batshit crazy here in Seattle that we're selling under 1,000 square foot A-frames for $845? Would love to hear everybody's thoughts. And if you want to take a look at this guy, I'm up and back and forth up on Stevens Pass pretty frequently and would love to show you. Just shoot me a DM. Cheers.